Welcome back, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Today I'm going to be going over the Aglilite K19 plate carrier. Obviously, if you watched some of my previous videos, you've seen me wearing this plate carrier. So I've been using this for a few months now. I've been putting it through some stress tests, regular infantryman gigs, so that I could give you the most accurate feedback possible for you guys to make the best decision financially for what you want to buy for yourself. Now, just for everybody's essay, I'm going to be going over the pros and I'm going to be going over the cons. And so I'll start off with the pros, give you everything I like about it, give you everything I don't like about it, and then overall I'm going to give you kind of like a little rating system just so that you can get a better understanding of how I personally feel about the overall system itself. So first things first, to start off our pros list, I like that it is comfortable. If you've ever been wearing a Flak for, multiple days on end, you know that comfort is a necessity. And I will say that this Flak is extremely comfortable. The fact that you have these nice thick shoulder pads here that are meant to breathe is great. A lot of Flaks kind of lack on the shoulder padding and they aren't that great. Maybe because they're trying to cut down a few more pounds or whatever. I like the Agilite tries to make their Flaks light, but they also try and make them comfortable. Next thing I want to get into is that it is sturdy. I've only had it for, like I said, a few months. I've done some field testing in it, gone to the range in it, run, jumped, rolled around in it, put it through a little conditioning test, and I would say that it's pretty sturdy. I haven't had any issues as far as anything falling apart on me. None of the straps feel loose. The bungee in the sides, if you look, the bungee in the sides is still there. It's well made. It is definitely well made. The materials were well picked, and I appreciate that. It also has again, for the sturdiness, the straps go from here all the way and cross down and just give you all that. A lot of other Flaks, they'll only have the strap go to here, and they'll sew this down, but they won't really put a lot of emphasis on extra strength through the Flak. I appreciate that the people who made the design thought about that. I think it's fantastic. Next thing is the top loops. Now, you can see I have one of the top loops undone for my camelback, and then the other one underneath the actual strap. Now, I really applaud Agilite for this thought design because it's stupid cool. I like the fact that, if these loops get in your way, because, something could be hitting it, whatever, you can tuck them away and they won't be an issue. But if you also want to have them, because a lot of us do carry camelbacks rather than canteens and other stuff like that, this is great for your hose. You could also put a tourniquet there, friggin' small knife there, whatever, dude. Sky's the limit. It's your Flak. Do what you want. I like the fact that you can use it or not use it. I'm going to say this. If you have a 1-point sling, it's really good because then you can also tuck the 1-point sling underneath these loops and have it to where it's not riding up, cutting through your neck. So just know that if you have a 1-point sling, these loops are going to be a little bit more beneficial. 2-point sling, these loops don't really matter. But it's there. Again, shooter's preference. Next thing I want to get into is that it is, breathable. You can see in here, it has all the breathable mesh. Now, obviously, when it comes to Flaks, breathing through your chest and breathing through your back aren't really that common. You're probably never going to get a Flak that perfectly allows you to breathe. But this is a little bit nicer than most Flaks that don't have this. This is pretty good material. I enjoy it. Also, if you have Agilite side sappies, I have no idea if this works for you or not, but I have some different kind of side sappies that are a little bit bigger and block this, and since it blocks that, I would say that you get less airflow through here and it doesn't make it as breathable. But if you are running with no side sappies, which for most people I recommend, unless they're going to frickin' Ukraine or something like that, I recommend you just run without side sappies, probably because you're not really going to be using them in whatever environment that you're in. The sides are breathable with no side sappies. You add side sappies, makes it less breathable. That kind of matters. It also kind of doesn't matter. Shooter's preference at the end of the day. One of the last few things I like on this, before we get into our cons, is the chest pouch. Now, the chest pouch may look small. A lot of Flaks only have it to, a small, like a map carrier, pretty much. Agilite actually went the extra distance and gave us a little bit more room to play with. They allow me to stick, small tools, like I could stick a multi-tool in there. Obviously I can stick some pliers in there. I have some zip ties in there. And it's pretty big, I can stick my whole hand in there. I could definitely fit my phone. I could probably fit a few more small hand tools if I need them. Depends on whatever you need this for. I think it's great. It actually gives you a lot of room because the full pocket is this whole chest plate here. It's not just a small little square that's only meant to hold maps. They gave a little bit more room, and I appreciate that. I think that's a great design. Now, the last thing I want to get into is that on the sides, we'll return here, it has these little side straps. Now, these little side straps are great because while you're wearing the flak, you can pull to adjust it. And as you pull to adjust it, it just adjusts. I think those buckles work great because a lot of flaks, you have a whole back system configuration here where it slides in here and you need to adjust all that well ahead of time. Agilite thought about it and they were like, hey, let's just make these adjustable, which I think is a great idea. All right, so now that I've gone over all the pros of the K19 plate carrier, I now want to go over all the cons. And first things I want to start off with, as far as cons, is the molly. I don't like the way Agilite sets up their molly to where you can only fit it in certain locations. It's not like most molly where you have rows upon rows upon rows of molly so that you can adjust it to however you want. So say I wanted to take my grenade pouch and move it, one left and one down, I'd be able to do that. With Agilite, I'm not able to do that. So see, you can even see here, there's no molly. So if I wanted to move this down for whatever reason, I wouldn't be able to. Also, for my mags, if you can see here, I had to put my mags just a little bit lower because I can't move them one molly up and make them parallel to the bottom of my flak. I would have to move it 2 up just because they lasered out only one section where you can put, mags and other things like that. If it's not going to bother you, it's whatever. It's just a personal thing for me. I wish I could have moved my mags up one more. I can't. No big deal. I'm still combat effective. Next thing is the side buckles. Now I've had a lot of practice with this, and also the fact that there's no side sappies here, there's no pouch or anything here, that will make it all easier. But when I was running a pouch here and I was running side sappies, it would sometimes take me like 30 seconds to a minute to just get the teeth properly lined up so that I could fish it in. Because you can't put the teeth on like that. You can't put the teeth on anywhere semi-crooked. You have to make it completely straight to the little groove inside. Now again, that's just a personal preference. I think that since they do sell the quick release, the actual quick release on the Agilite website, that they could have replaced this teeth idea for those and they would have come out with a better product in my eyes. So yeah, I don't like Agilite for that reason. When you know that this is an issue and you sell the solution on your website instead of just selling the flak with the actual solution on that. This is not the best design for this if you're in a hurry. Because if I need to put my flak on and I need to get out the door in 30 seconds, I'm not even going to bother fumbling around with this. I'm going to just throw it on and start going and then try and fix it later on the fly. I don't like Agilite for that design. Yes, I could just, call it a day and pay the $18 or whatever to get a new one. But hey, it's about the principle, all right? It's about the principle. If you know you have a better product, give people better products. Don't charge them extra. Because essentially you have to pay $280 for the whole flak, and then you have to pay another $18 for just one side buckle. Not a set of 2 side buckles, 1 side buckle. So, yeah, personal pet peeve on that one for sure. With that being said, and talking about the side sappies and how I mentioned before, my side sappies aren't Agilite side sappies. Like, they aren't the Agilite side sappy carriers. So your experience may differ compared to mine just because, I have different products. But I've had other flaks in the past where they are still multifunctional with different companies' products. And I think that, yes, it is your personal choice to make any kit, any Kevlar, any whatever product, however you want. You definitely have that right. If you want to make your products only compatible with your other products and other companies' products it's just not compatible with, that's fine. It is their decision. I'm not saying anything about that. But I will say, if you are looking to be more compatible, and if you were trying to get a Flak that's more compatible with, your non-agilite gear, you may want to look somewhere else. You can jerry rig it, kind of like how I did, because ideally they're supposed to be an agilite camelback carrier here, not, my old issued Marine Corps camelback right here. But since I have this and I don't want to drop freaking whatever extra $100 it is just to get the right one, I just jerry rigged it with some zip ties. You can do stuff to this Flak, like you can jerry rig that with zip ties. You could probably jerry rig these with zip ties. It really doesn't matter. It's all shooter's preference. Long story short, there's just a list of problems. Okay, so the very last thing I'm going to get into as far as cons are these Velcro straps. Now, I don't like these Velcro straps for the reason being that when you have a 2-point sling, this does not apply to 1-point slings at all. But when you have a 2-point sling, your sling generally sits on either your right side or your left side, no matter how you carry it. And when you maneuver your sling, it's most likely around this area. So all you're going to hear is... Because last thing you want to do is be super sneaky squirrel and go to move your rifle and all you hear is... Somebody's going to know you're there. They could have made this strap a little bit shorter when it's in the fully closed position, and they could have made it to where there's a little piece of Velcro on top so that, say you have it as tight as I do, you can fold this over, and then when you have a 2-point sling, it doesn't get in the way. But obviously, say you have some big boy shoulders, and you're sitting like this, it's really not that big of a deal. Your rifle sling is probably not going to touch it as much just because it has that Velcro that's sitting on it. So yeah, if you got some big boy shoulders, you'll be fine. It won't really matter. If you like it a little bit more high and tight on your chest, it's going to be an issue. So with all that being said, these are my personal pros for it. These are my personal cons against it. These pros and cons may not apply to you at all, and guess what? That's okay, because you are buying this Flak at the end of the day for yourself and your own specific purpose and mission needs. I bought this Flak to test, because I will say that they make this Flak on the Agilite website look like it's out there slaying dragons, and in reality it has a little bit more issues than people would initially consider. At least I didn't foresee these issues when I first bought this Flak. So I hope that this helps you make a better and more well-informed decision in the future. And with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.